Commander's Log, January 3038, Longsight Base, Kun System. After arriving at Longsight Base and meeting Elvira Martuk, we immediately got to work upgrading my fleet. Elvira is an absolute genius at tuning frameshift drives, and it's been great getting to know her a little better over the last few weeks. Well known as an explorer, I'm still curious about the rumours of her once being a deadly assassin, but it's none of my business really. I now have full access to the base, and Elvira has informed me of another couple of engineers that I could benefit from becoming acquainted with. Zachary Nemo out in Yoru is known for his work on modifying frag cannons, and Marco Gwent from the Sirius system apparently knows his way around a power plant. Both are fiercely loyal to their respective factions, so to get a meeting, I'll first need to build up my reputation with Sirius Corporation and the Party of Yoru. It was time for me to establish a home base. Improving my reputation with minor factions was the key to unlocking more varied and lucrative missions. After careful consideration, I opted for the Delkar system. Located around 80 light years from Sol and 40 light years from Lave, Delkar is renowned for its refineries and pristine mining reserves. There's an abundance of credits to be made there, and I wanted a piece of the action. Most factions in the system surrounding Delkar are federally aligned, but there are also one or two Imperial and Alliance factions nearby. The Decamp Orbital Concourse was buzzing with talk of a drug cartel that's been plaguing the nearby trade routes and mineral sites. Pirate activity is commonplace wherever you go these days, but the Solati jets have been steadily intensifying their attacks in the region over the past few months. The word is that several factions have had enough and are actively recruiting mercenaries to suppress the brigand threat. Being a newcomer to the area, I knew I wasn't going to pick up the best contracts, I would have to prove myself first. With over 30 unique factions within 10 light years of Solati, there was no shortage of jobs to massacre or put down ships of the cartel. As part of my recent fleet refresh, I had also picked up a Mark II Eagle. The Poniard has seen its fair share of action over the years with several previous owners. With the engineering modifications made to the shields and thrusters at Longsight Base and a fresh coat of paint, the Poniard was ready for action. As I worked my way through the stations and starports, it also became apparent that the minor factions don't really coordinate with one another. By carefully sticking to one mission per faction targeting the pirates of the Solati Jet's drug empire, each ship destroyed counts against every mission. The Pilots Federation limit the maximum number of missions any pilot can take at any one time to 20. Nevertheless, getting paid 20 times per kill is a pretty sweet deal. It took a while to build up a full roster of missions, and I took several opportunities to increase my reputation as I travelled between the systems. Mostly, I did this through making donations. I prefer to think of these as investments. Grabbing a few curry missions along the way didn't hurt either. Once I had filled up on missions targeting the jets, it was time to start the hunt. Arriving in Solati, the navigation screen was littered with signals showing concentrations of pirate ships. I elected to ignore them and stick to the resource extraction sites found in some of the rings. Packs or wings of ships are far more deadly than solitary targets. If heading to pirate signals, it's wise to have a wing of your own or an extremely powerful ship. Resource extraction sites have high concentrations of miners operating in the area. This makes them a magnet for bandits looking to steal rare commodities to make a quick profit on the black market. There is usually a strong security force presence, with hazardous rated extraction sites being the exception. If a ship scan reveals a wanted tag, then that ship is fair game to engage and a bounty is awarded if it is destroyed. There are a few questions I try to consider before squeezing the trigger. What is the type of ship I'm looking to engage? What is the combat rank of the pirate? And is the ship part of a wing? Depending on the situation, the prudent option may be to wait for security forces to engage, or perhaps just look for an easier target. As long as you are not carrying cargo, pirate ships will usually ignore you until you attack them. You can use this to your advantage by initiating attacks from a dominant position. Be aware of security forces also involved in the conflict. An occasional stray shot will usually trigger a warning, but any sustained fire can lead to a fine and the friendlies turning on you. Destroyed ships drop a wide variety of manufactured engineering materials. After a few patrols, I decided to install a Collect Olympic controller and a small cargo bay to make scooping materials easier following each encounter. I would generally continue to engage ships until one of my missions was completed, or if I started running low on ammo. All damage is another good reason to temporarily disengage and head to a nearby station for repairs. If your ship is destroyed, you lose any unclaimed bounties. Whenever you accept a pirate massacre mission, there is a chance that the target faction will retaliate by sending ships after you. They will usually look to interdict you whilst in supercruise. These hunters are often experienced pilots with heavily armed vessels, so can be difficult to deal with. Fortunately, interdictions are usually easy to escape, especially when flying a maneuverable ship yourself. My campaign against the Solati jets lasted for several days and resulted in around 100 or so ships being destroyed. Whether my contribution made any real difference in the long term, only time will tell. Even with my relatively modest reputation, I was able to make over 100 million credits in a few days. With my improved relationships with many of the nearby factions, I'm already starting to see more varied and higher rewarding missions appearing on the boards. Completing missions and building reputation with factions aligned to the superpowers also increases your standing with their respective navies. If you do enough, you will occasionally get the opportunity to complete official naval missions and progress your rank as you do so. Increased rank bestows access to a variety of ships and system permits. As a direct result of the campaign in Solati, I now hold the rank of Petty Officer in the Federal Navy and serve in the Imperial Navy. So how did the Poniard perform? The Eagle's lack of overall shielding and firepower put it at a disadvantage in head-on engagements. Its strength is its unrivaled agility, enabling it to maintain a dominant position outside of enemy ships' firing arcs in most dogfights. It is imperative to pick engagements carefully though. The three small hardpoints struggle to penetrate the hulls of medium and large ships. Engagements with multiple ships at the same time should be avoided where possible, but a chaff launcher does help reduce incoming fire. The biggest threat to the Eagle seemed to come from medium-class ships with decent manoeuvrability, such as the Asp Scout, Asp Explorer, Vulture and Fer-de-Lance. The Fer-de-Lance in particular, with its ability to boost away then turn and fire, allowed it to overwhelm the Eagle with its superior shielding and firepower. All in all, I enjoyed flying the Eagle a lot, but ultimately some situations would clearly benefit from having a bit more firepower.